Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Good evening, how are we? You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Jamie O'Hara's in the Maldives with his trotters up getting some pre-Christmas sun. Cundy defected to drive. So I'm your host, Max Scott, and I'm delighted to say I'm alongside the legend, the icon, the cult hero. That is Bayo Akinfenwa. He's on the end of the line, so pick up the phone and start dialing 03717 223344. Crystal Palace fans, how are you feeling? 11 changes in the Conference League tonight. Understandably, 3 games in 6 days. 2-2 against Finnish Giants Coops. Having to settle for another 2 games in the playoffs for the knockout rounds. We'll also be building up to the Premier League this weekend. Belter of a fixture list, including Spurs hosting Bayo's beloved Liverpool. Is Thomas Frank at risk of the sack? How are we feeling about Liverpool without Mo Salah? We're also going to be reacting to Bruno Fernandes' comments to Rio Ferdinand, talking about his legacy at Manchester United. Asking the question, when Bruno does leave the club, will he be considered a club legend? All that and more. Some Ashes build up. AJ, Jake, Paul, get your calls in now. 03717 223344 or text 81089. This is a Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Get into it then, mate. Bayo, how are you doing? I've got to start by saying we were in the studio and you had some Christmas tunes on the end of your lips, and I was surprised it was Justin Bieber, mate.
Yeah.
You a JB fan?
Yeah, man. JB's got some bangers. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm a father of 5, so I can't get away from the whole Christmas spirit. I'm glad I got away from the kids today, but you know what I'm saying. But no, man. Yeah, I was just. When I got out of my car, I was listening to JB's Mistletoe. Yeah, man, I'm in that Christmas that Christmas feel.
I'm glad to hear it, mate. But let's now talk about Liverpool.
Okay.
just to maybe bring it.
Man just brought me right back down.
Because, mate, the last time you were on the Sports Bar 2 weeks ago, it was the day before Salah kicked off after Leeds, spoke to the world's media. That was the biggest sports story in the world at the time.
Yep.
Few games on, you're unbeaten in 5. Salah's come back, for 75 minutes. He's now off to AFCON. Just talk to me about how you're feeling about Liverpool, Salah, and what the rest of the season holds for you.
All right, cool. So the worst thing is I spoke immensely about this when it came out. And look, I've said this, right? I think maybe the timing, I think deliverance wasn't ideal from Salah. I get it. But I understood the message. I understood a player who now has been the player who's got the most contribution for a single club. So it was somebody that was frustrated. And I think the narrative for him as a player, and I think that you see certain players come out and said, he wasn't trying to make it personal. And that's why I said maybe he didn't articulate himself the best. He wasn't trying to make it personal. It was a frustration from a person who, for him, he said his output, not talking about this season, his output, his love for Liverpool. And he's like, look, man, it looks like outside looking in, you've tried to say the reason why we're going through turbulence time is because of me. And time again, he felt like, look, I'm proven, and maybe there's players that you'll continue to use to try and get them through this patch. So he came out and said, nah, man, look, play me. I'm frustrated. I don't like sitting on the bench at the best of times. So for me, like I said, I don't think his deliverance and the timing was great, but I could understand the message.
Well, having followed you over your career, the thing that struck me about you was often about like standards and leadership, even when you're not playing, being the first on the training pitch, showing up for the team. Do you think that having been a pro and having had the career you've had, knowing what that mentality is like in a dressing room, do you think that would have annoyed, frustrated some of the teammates who maybe were thinking, we need to be together here, this needs to be about the team, not about you individually?
Yeah, listen, I think that the leader groups, the generals, they would have been, you know what, it's adding more pressure to whatever was a real pressure time. But also, professionals know, and they know Salah. Like the players that have been there with him for years, they know him. They know that, look, if they win 3-0, he may have a little strop on his face because he ain't scored the goals. They know him. It's not personal. That's just what drives him. And for me, I say this, right, in regards to, and I guess we'll talk about this later on in the show, about man management. And I remember coming out after who did Liverpool play recently when we beat Brighton? After the Brighton game, I thought Slot handled it brilliantly. I really did. I was surprised that his first go-to was Salah. And for me, I think man management is, I won't say it's as important as tactical, but it plays such an important role to be able to...
I think he's come out well through all of this.
Yes.
You think, and maybe in a way, that what happened maybe galvanised them. They went to Milan, a really difficult place to go. They're winning the Champions League, and all of a sudden, the feeling around the club feels a bit different. Particularly when you're starting to hear, rumours, reports of maybe some unrest around, the relationship with the manager. That's all quieting down now, and sometimes a bit of drama can galvanise the team.
Yeah, man, it was a distraction. Like it was a distraction, and. Whatever, if Salah meant it or if he didn't, sometimes you need a distraction or you need an issue to galvanise. And that's what it seems like it's done. And do I think the issue's over? No, I don't.
Say, he's gone to AFCON.
Yeah.
Do you think he plays after that? Do you think he plays for Liverpool again? I
think he needs to. I think Liverpool needs Salah and Salah need Liverpool. I think if Liverpool try to move away at this juncture now, and again, the reason why I say that, you saw when Salah came on at Brighton, he had a point to prove, and I think it's good. I honestly do think that sometimes you do get complacent, sometimes you need a little bit of fire in your belly. But I honestly, and this is my, if Liverpool, if that was Salah's last game, I'd be so disappointed. Because I did listen.
Did you feel that was a farewell at full time?
No, I didn't. I felt like it was an emotional. I felt what happened was. Look, Salah's active on social media, so he would have seen the backlash. He would have seen a lot of people. He saw Jamie Carragher come out, which I've already come for JC. I've come for Jamie Carragher. I didn't like what he said. I won't even lie. I felt like you saw there was the way two people handled it that were like Liverpool legends. Jamie Carragher handled it in regards to fuel to the fire, and Stevie Gerrard handled it with, look, they both need each other. So I weren't really cool with what Jamie Carragher came to say in regards to certain elements of what he said.
Why not?
Just because, you know what he was coming about saying, that I felt he added fuel to the fire. I felt that for him being at the elite, and I keep coming back to say, I haven't even been at the elite at these players. He's been in that pressure cooker. He's been where he feels or where he hasn't felt appreciated. And like I've said, I get it. Time, deliverance, or timing and deliverance maybe wasn't great, but can understand the frustration, especially where he can start the sentence by saying, look, Salah's one of Liverpool's greatest players. Yeah. So when you are that, and when you have done that output, it does give a little bit to say, no, man, look, I've done this. I've been proven to do this. And I felt like you discarded me. I felt like I was the problem. And also, his standards, he came out, and this is no disrespect because I thought Sunderland outplayed us at Anfield.
And they should have won at the end.
Yeah, no, be easy. We don't know. Chiesa staved us, be easy. But yeah, they actually maybe should have. But when Salah's coming out, and he came out and was saying the same thing in regards where, but we shouldn't be drawing at Sunderland, and we shouldn't be giving a 2-goal away against Leeds. These are two just newly promoted teams. So that's the standards he set. Not saying that he's played great, but I felt when Jamie Carragher came and then just added that fuel, I just thought it was fuel. Whereas in the same time, it needed to be harmonious. It needed to be like, oh, and he was saying the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. Just come back. I think that when Salah was walking around the pitch and people were calling his name, I felt that he felt the love. Yeah. He felt the love, and I felt it was emotional. So I'm hoping it was more emotional than farewell.
Well, hopefully, and maybe that the future's still bright for Mo Salah at Liverpool, and for Liverpool, who of course are unbeaten in 5. They've got Spurs at the weekend. Liverpool fans, we want to hear your thoughts. How are you feeling ahead of the game? Spurs fans, is this Thomas Frank's last opportunity to prove himself as the right man for Spurs? Get in touch, 03717 223344. Any Palace fans on the way home? How are you feeling about that draw with Coops? 3 games in 6 days. I think Oliver Glasner's doing amazing things, 11 changes. Get in touch. You're listening to the Sports Spot on talkSPORT.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Hit the bullseye this Christmas with a darty party at Village. Enjoy flights of festive fun with our interactive darts lanes. Available at locations across the UK.
are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with me, Max Scott, alongside Bayo Akinfenwa. We are asking Spurs fans, Liverpool fans, give us a call 03717 223344 ahead of a massive game, particularly, I think, for Thomas Frank, considering the pressure he is under. Liverpool fans, how you feeling about Mo Salah's situation? Unbeaten in 5. Get in touch. We're on the other end of the line. But first, we're going to head over to the Ali Pally. Chris Murphy has the very latest in the darts.
Yeah, order seems to be restored here at Alexandra Palace, where Michael Van Gogh has fought back from being a set and 2 legs down to Japanese qualifier Mitsuhiko Tatsunami. The world number 3 MVG had a nightmare on doubles in the early part of the match, and his opponent capitalised to take the lead. But the 3-time world champion bounced back, turning around the second set and then racing through the third to move 2-1 ahead. However, checkouts of 76 and 62 gave his opponent another 2-leg lead in set 4. Van Gogh pulled 1 back before Tatsunami missed 5 darts for the set, allowing the Dutchman to level and move within a leg of the match. Make no mistake, though, this has been a super-sized scare for Van Gerwen, who will be almightily relieved once he crosses the line. It looks like he's about to do so. Commentary at the closing stages available on the talkSPORT app.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Hit the bullseye this Christmas with a darty party at Village. Enjoy flights of festive fun with our interactive darts lanes. Available at locations across the UK.
Right, we're heading straight back to our Premier League build-up. Spurs, Liverpool. First of all, Bayo, how are you feeling about this game? You enter Spurs, Thomas Frank under a massive amount of pressure. First of all, like, do you think it's a bit harsh, some of the criticism he's getting from Spurs fans, considering he's got to turn around a big ship? It's not even Christmas yet. Yeah,
to be fair, it's not like I watch Spurs all the time, and this is what worries me about this game against Liverpool, because when the pressure really, really hits, they kind of get a result, and it kind of gives him a little bit more like, oh, maybe it's not so bad.
Maybe he's the right man.
Yeah, so, and that's why I'm kind of like, oh, like, because they've been poor at home, and the Liverpool's coming there, and I'm like, oh, are they just going to turn up for the Liverpool game? But listen, I do back Liverpool. I think Liverpool's got some confidence, and they've got some momentum at the moment, and it'll be good to see how Liverpool now are going to go forward without Mo. But yeah, I do. I think slightly it's a little bit unfair, but then also, look, Thomas Franks has got a style of football. You know, he's got that style, and you kind of knew that before you signed him, and now I think you're seeing it. You know,
buyer's remorse now.
Yeah, so all of a sudden it's like, it's very one direction. You know, very set piece. But that's how he was. You know, and I know Brentford and Tottenham are different teams, but that's what Thomas Frank is. So I do think it's a little bit harsh, but again, as long as they keep that poor home form run for Saturday when we play them, I'm cool with that.
Right, well, let's head to the phone lines. Mumsy is a Liverpool fan. Mumsy, how are you feeling ahead of this one? You know, it's a difficult one to predict. Well, actually, it's not. Liverpool, I think Spurs have only won 2 of the last 25 games they've played. Spurs have only won 2 out of the last 25 they've played against Liverpool. So you must be confident going into it. What do you think?
No, I'm not confident going into it, to be honest. And I'll be fair to you, I rate Thomas Frank better than Slot.
Oh.
Now, I know you're saying, it's all about Thomas Frank, he needs to win. But he needs to be given a chance. Now, I'd say it's the other way around. Slot needs to win this game, or at least shows that he knows what he's doing with the team selection, with the substitutions. And I still don't think he can do that.
So,
okay, so Mumsy, are you a Slot out? Are you a Slot out? So where are you at with it? Because, of course, prior to this whole Mo Salah, incident, there was talk about, Slot's only got a week to kind of save his job. That was, we played West Ham, Sunderland and Leeds. That's what the talk there. So what side of the fence are you on?
Slot out. I'm not saying what side I do with the media is right, but Slot out, because myself, listen, I'm a boxing coach. And as a manager as
Mumsy,
well...
I'm going to have to pause you there. Feel free to stay on the line, but we've got to go back to Chris Murphy, who's got the latest in the darts.
Yeah, Michael Van Gogh has just crossed the line in a crazy game against Mitsuhiko Tatsunami, who ended up missing a bucket load of doubles, actually, to force it to a deciding set. The Japanese player, he had a smile on his face all throughout the match, but he got serious towards the end as he felt that he could actually produce one of the biggest shots in World Championship history.
On the doubles.
We did see
did you
him
ever start
miss
to
5 darts for the set in one visit. He got on to miss a further 3 in the leg that followed. Michael Van Gerwen is going to be the most relieved man on Planet Darts tonight. He goes through to the second round, but not without a scare. It's 3-1 in the end, but he struggled on his doubles, and it's quite a flattering scoreline as well for the 3-time world champion. One more match to come this evening. Christopher Ratajski taking on Alexis Tondo, and all of the action is live on the talkSPORT app.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Hit the bullseye this Christmas with a darty party at Village. Enjoy flights of festive fun with our interactive darts lanes, available at locations across the UK.
Chris Murphy with the very latest from the Ali Pally there, but we're heading straight back to phone line. Mumsy, you're saying this is win or be sacked for Arne Slot at the weekend against Spurs?
Yeah, his man management skills are really bad. When a player goes to a bad patch, you need to sit down and you need to concentrate. Every single player is individual. As I was saying, I'm a boxing coach. I've got boxers. Each boxer has a different mentality. Each footballer has a different mentality. You need a manager, and that's how Klopp was. You need to sit down, focus, and help that player. It doesn't matter.
You're unbeaten in 5, though, mate. You're doing all right.
Well, I'll ring you back after the Spurs game.
No, Mumsy, don't put that energy out there. We're together. Listen, look, part of me, I get where you're coming from in regards to man management. I don't know if that's one of Slot's, greatest characteristics, his man management, but I do feel from, Max has said it, we're unbeaten in 5. Don't get the game twisted. I know we had, Sunderland and Leeds in regards to that, but, West Ham, Inter Milan and Brighton, good victories. But I am with you. And, I agree with you. I know that we're still in transition from the Klopp era and this era. So we're very used to being, dynamic, lots of energy. And Slot's a very pragmatic manager. And sometimes when you look at the way we play, you're like, Mumsy said it, he's a boxing coach. And I think styles, make clubs and dynasties. And at the moment, Slot's characteristics, I don't think he's actually still tapped into how to use Anfield in our playing style at the moment. But I'm not on Mumsy. Mumsy's on this. He's gully at the moment.
Mumsy, before we let you go, let's say you do beat Spurs at the weekend, right? And so Slot keeps his job for you. What does he need to do to still be the Liverpool manager next season? Right.
In that game, we need to know what the starting lineup is and the substitutions that he's making. Is he doing them right? Is he making little mistakes? So even if we win and he's made these silly mistakes, his substitution, we do know that he doesn't know what he's doing. He needs to get.
So you'd still sack him. You still might sack him. So
you're just not having him you're just not having him.
It's not that. You tell me if we had the Crystal Palace manager or even Thomas Frank with this Liverpool.
But Thomas Frank's not doing particularly well at Spurs.
Well, hold on. You want Thomas Frank? Nah, Mumsy. See you.
No, I gave you an example.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'll take that back from you.
Team. No, I gave an example with this team. They have managers like that. They'd be doing really good with it. He doesn't know what he doesn't know what he's doing. Honestly, he doesn't know what he's doing. And just when you watch that game against Spurs, just watch out the substitution. He's thinking, why is he getting that player? What's he doing? Why is that player starting to get right back? I'm telling you, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, there you go. Strong words from Mumsy. It's not looking good for Arne Slot. Just quickly before we break, Bayo, can you tell me who starts instead of Salah now? Well, I know he's been on the bench, but with a prolonged absence now he's at AFCON. What do you want to see Slot do? Mumsy's complaining there about the decisions he's making in terms of personnel, substitutions, and you seem to sort of agree with that to an extent. What do you want to see Slot do now in the absence of Salah?
Again, I think it's hard in regards to personnel. I do think this is the time when, and I'm not saying to try things, but this is the time where he now needs to, and Mumsy's right, get his team. I know we're trying to get Isak in the team, and because when Isak will be firing, listen, we know he's one of the best strikers in the world. We get that, but at the moment, he's not. So I don't think you should try and cram him in. Ekatike needs to be the main man at the moment. And then look, I know Frimpong's not fit at the moment, so that is where Slot needs to earn his money. But then I do think Chiesa's earned a run out. I really do. I I know I wasn't shouting about Chiesa last year because I
wasn't
felt...
playing, no one was.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think he was probably 6th or 7th in line last year. But I think where he's come on, he's saying, we said we should have lost the game against Sunderland. It was him.
Yeah.
You know, every time he comes, he shows that Liverpool way, that intensity, that, you know...
Setting the standards.
Yeah, so I do think that he's earned, you know, you want to use that, you know, an opportunity to play with the senior players. So, but, you know, it will be intriguing to see what lineup we go against Tottenham. But listen, hopefully I'm against Mumsy. We need to win this game, you know. Like,
not slat out just yet.
Yeah, not slat out just yet.
Right, keep your calls and texts coming in 03717 22 3344. You listen to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app today for all the latest odds and offers. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
$26K for 2026 on talkSPORT.
Yeah, talkSPORT will welcome in the new year by giving away a massive £26,000. What better way to kick off 2026 than with a chance to win some serious cash? Yes, that's 26 grand. It's our biggest New Year cash giveaway, and it could be yours. It's 26k for 2026. Here's how to enter. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 423 9761. Lines closed 12 p.m. 9th of January 2026. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. UK residents only, 18 plus. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com/win. So for your chance to win, text 83338 now. Good luck. Lovely stuff. Enough of those T's and C's. We're heading straight back to the phone lines. We're talking Liverpool. We've just had Mumsy on, who's saying if Liverpool do not beat Thomas Frank's Spurs, he wants Slot sacked. We're heading to 100% Mo. Back on the sports bar. He's on it more than me. Mo, how you doing, mate? And what's your take on that? Do you agree with Mumsy? Do you want Slot gone if you don't win?
Hey, there's no Cundy, no Jimmy G tonight. We've got the beast, and we've got you for that. Hey.
What's going on, Mo? Hey, Mo, how you doing? You good?
I'm all right. Listen. That other chap who was just been on, yeah? I mean, what's he on?
I'd agree with you, mate. Bonkers.
What's he on? Listen. My take is Liverpool are still going to win the league. The league is still going to be won. Listen,
Mo, what you been drinking tonight? Mo, you excited?
No, listen.
God, talk to me. Talk to me. Liverpool man to Liverpool man. Talk to me, Mo.
Yeah. Listen, our next few matches, we should beat all of them, yeah? We're gonna annihilate Tottenham on Saturday. So Saturday, Jimmy G is going to be crying on his holiday. He'll still be on holiday and he'll be still crying and be drinking because my team is going to go to that stadium and it's going to whoop Jimmy G's it's like
well saved.
But that other chap, man, he's not a Liverpool man. He must be.
Well, let me ask you something, man. Let me ask you something, Mo. I'm going to ask you something, Liverpool man to Liverpool man. Yeah, what's given you? Because in the last 5 games, because before that, we was on a horrendous run and still set to be one of the worst defending Premier League champions, right? So the 5 games have passed. What has given you this impetus or this excitement that, one, we can go win the league, okay, but that's cool. Listen, I love the faith, but what's giving you this hope that these next few games, what have you seen?
The whole team. I mean, look at Hugo. Hugo is on fire. That is the new Henry. He's the new Thierry Henry, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Hugo is on fire, yeah? Vert, he's like John Barnes, Jan Molby, Stevie G, yeah, Coutinho, all roll into one, yeah? Oh. That's a lot of words for you, yeah? And you've got Virgil there. You've got Mohamed Salah. He's going to be back. Yeah, he's going to be back. Look, Liverpool are going to be the champions this year again, and this is going to go down in history, yeah? People are going to just say, you know what, we've written Liverpool off. Look at them. They can't be any worse than what they've been, have they?
Mo, you're 10 points. You're 10 points off top at the minute, right? I'd say with the form that Arsenal, City and Villa are in, you're going to have to win every single game for the rest of the season.
Listen. We will be. We're going to win all of our next 4 to 5 matches, yeah, before Christmas. Then we're going to go and play Arsenal at their ground. We're going to beat them as well. You guys are going to be ringing me up. Eddie's going to be ringing me up and saying, listen, get that guy.
Right, Mo, let me tell you something. I'll tell you something, yeah? If that happens, yeah, I will call you and you can just say, I'll purchase you something. I'll tell you what I'll do. If from now to when we play Arsenal and beat Arsenal, if that happens, you pick any restaurant you want to on me.
You've heard it here first. Any restaurant on the line, any meal. Restaurant. How many guests can you have?
Yes.
You can have 2 guests.
Right.
You can bring
only 2.
Yeah, 2. There's some expensive restaurants out there, yeah?
Listen, the beast, look. It's not going to be me and you. It's going to be me, you, Jimmy G and Cundy.
All right, cool. Listen, if that happens, I'll make it happen. If we say what you do, I'll make it happen.
Cundy is so negative against my team. He's so negative against Liverpool Football Club. It's unreal, I'm telling you, yeah?
But it has been dreadful this season.
It's been bad, though. Mo, it's been bad.
I can understand why,
Mo, it's been bad. Listen.
You've stunk the place out this season.
It's been bad, man.
You have played professional football, yeah? I have played semi-professional football. Liverpool have got a very, very good team.
Yeah.
Very good team. I mean, Arnie Slot, the guy is a top-notch coach. He's brilliant. He's won the league last year by January. They were on a holiday.
And then since then, listen, I'm with you at the moment. Listen, I'm with you. I'm a Liverpool supporter. But you have to admit, you can't just be on blind faith. Up until
It's not blind faith.
But it is.
Liverpool are going to invest. Liverpool are going to invest money in January. They need to go and get a couple of defenders.
Yes, we do.
They need to go and, I mean, my sources have been reporting this for a couple of months. The Simonio deal is done. Yeah? Anton Simonio has come to Liverpool, and with the system Slot has got designed now, he will suit him down to the ground.
Mo, Mo, I love the enthusiasm. Fair play to him, and it's good to hear that there's a goal in sight for him. You're going to pay for dinner. Cundy and O'Hara.
We do that. I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen.
Fair play to him. That is 100% Mo, absolute all-time classic caller. But let's be honest, coming out with some absolute nonsense that Liverpool are going to win the league. Bayo, what is a realistic sort of finish for Liverpool this season? 10 points off the top. I mean, the more I think about it, maybe I've just been sort of maybe I'm beginning to believe the hype. 10 points is, well, look, it's not doable, but you can certainly get Champions League surely at this point.
Listen, the aim is Champions League. Listen, and we all joke on that. Liverpool didn't invest in the squad to not make Champions League. I mean, they invested to go and win the league, and that's what they did. And unfortunately, listen, I've said it. It's not been good enough. But what we are hoping is that whatever the new Liverpool looks like, and if the last 5 games is anything to go off, that's kind of like the new Liverpool.
Is Isak part of the new Liverpool? Because I look at the criticism that Gyökeres gets, for example, understandably in some senses. I think players need longer to be bedded in, particularly if you've come from Portugal. He scored 4 goals.
Yep.
Isak scored 1.
Yep.
And with Ekitike, despite all of the chaos, playing so well, how do you expect them to fit together, and what do you think the future holds for Isak?
Yeah, listen, I do think the new age of football, it seems like you can only have one superstar in your team. I don't get that. And I know you can't really cross eras, but you go back to where the Man United's 4 strikers, the Liverpool 4 strikers, that you can't just, in my mind, you need to have quality all over. Just for complacency itself, you need to keep having players to push one another. And the reason why I say Isak is slightly different in regards to, I do think now he should be getting judged because he's had long enough time in regards to the fitness. But one thing I would say is, with his situation, is not as straightforward because he didn't have a pre-season. I know people keep saying that, but pre-season, it's an integral part just for speed of body, speed of mind. So he had no pre-season games. And I don't care what anybody says, training ground games, training is not the same as real intensity football. And then also with that, Isak was the main man in regards to stylistic. So stylistic at at Newcastle.
If you want to talk about Forest, mate, I'll happily talk about
listen,
Forest.
We'll give Forest props in a bit. But stylistically, at Newcastle, he had Barnes and Gordon on one side, and he had Jacob Murphy and another on the other side. And literally, it was just to wingers. And also, and I know people will say, oh, yeah, I'm going deep and that. But whenever people played Newcastle, it was rarely that there was low blocks. Newcastle teams are just, I'm not saying freely because they respect Newcastle because Newcastle are a good team, but
it's not Liverpool.
But it's not Liverpool. So now stylistically, he now has to get to grips with that. So he has to adapt his game, and Liverpool players have to adapt their game to suit him. That will take longer and that's why a reason why I think he's not getting the same amount of, scrutiny as Gyökeres. Yeah. But I do think it's time. Like now when you're seeing him, you got to start seeing glimpses. Because last season, single-handedly, he bullied Gabriel and Saliba by himself, and he gave both Konate and Van Dijk a tough time. So this is single-handedly, so we know he's got it in there. But he does start now. We got to start seeing elements. So you know where we said, like, where Mo was talking about your verts is everybody rolled into one. He ain't John Barnes. But anyway, but you can see elements. Now you got to start seeing end product from verts. But you can see and be like, yo, he's a player. And once you get it right, he's going to be a problem. But you got to start seeing that with Isak now, because we've seen it before. So we got to start, in the Liverpool shirt, we got to start saying, you know what, looks good, strong, start getting these goals. But that will happen. That will come.
Well, keep your calls and texts coming in, whether it's about Liverpool, Spurs, Palace fans. How was it at Selhurst Park tonight? How are you feeling about another 2 playoff games for the knockout round in the Conference League? You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Visit talksportbet.com for exclusive offers and bonuses. 18+, gambleaware.org. Good evening, how are we? You're listening to the Sports Bar with me, Max Scott, alongside the legend, the superstar. That is Bayo Akinfenwa. Beast mode activated on the Sports Bar tonight. We're going to get into some Bruno Fernandes in a minute. But first, we're heading back to the Ali Pally. Ian Danton's got the very latest.
Yeah, thanks, Max. We're into the final match of the night. We're still in round 1 of the 2026 PDC World Darts Championship. And the Polish number 1, the Polish Eagle, Krzysztof Ratajski, has just taken the first set against the Philippine player Alexis Toiler, one of the slowest players on the circuit. Ratajski isn't exactly quick, but he looks quick by comparison with his opponent. But he's 1 set to love up in a race to 3 to get through to round 2. Earlier, Michael van Gerwen was given a real scare by the Japanese debutant Mitsuhiko Tatsunami. Eventually, MVG, the 3-time world champion, came out by 3 sets to 1. Dave Chisnell saw off Fallon Sherritt by 3-0, and Jermaine Watamina also struggled against another debutant, the German Dominik Grulich, before the machine gun finally came through by 3-2. All the remaining action tonight is on the talkSPORT app and on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube page.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Hit the bullseye this Christmas with a darty party at Village. Enjoy flights of festive fun with our interactive darts lanes. Available at locations across the UK.
Right, we've got a brand new podcast for you now. How to win the World Cup. Join comedian Matt Ford, massive Forest fan as well, legend, as we dive headfirst into this podcast that will hopefully give us all the answers as we learn what it really takes to win the World Cup. This week we've got a real winner as World Cup champion. Emmanuel Petit joins us to relive the glory and the moments after lifting football's greatest prize, including the small issue of not saving his World Cup kit for his mum.
Have you got one of those rings?
No, I gave everything to charity events. I only kept the World Cup trophy, the European trophy, and some medals, the Premier League, for example. But every single shirt, I gave it. Even the World Cup final against Brazil.
So who did you...
I gave it straight away after the game. I'm so stupid. No, you have no idea, because my mother, she killed me afterwards. She said, please give me one shirt. We had 3 shirts. I said, Mommy, I don't know how to tell you that, but I gave everything.
UNICEF forgot.
She killed me. I regret it.
That's the moral of the story. Don't give to charity.
No, keep it.
It'll only upset your mum.
Yeah.
Love it. Right, so do not disappoint your mum. Go and check out the How to Win the World Cup podcast, and now available on the talkSPORT app or your favourite podcast provider. Right, we're getting into a little bit of Bruno chat, because earlier today, Man United captain Bruno Fernandes spoke about how loyalty in football has more meaning than winning trophies.
Loyalty in football before was like Totti at Rome, Giggs at United, I don't know, Maldini at Milan. I had all these examples in Italy. So for me, when I came to the club, a part of loving being here and loving the club, I think my loyalty was like in the toughest periods I had the club, and I could have left in 2 times. The club said, no, we need you. And I said, okay, you gave me something, I will give you something. Obviously, I think the time at the club has not been as I wanted, because obviously I wanted to lift trophies and I haven't lifted as many as I should and I could. But at the same time, I think everything I've done for the club in a certain way was still very important.
Yeah, that is Bruno Fernandes speaking to Rio Ferdinand. Don't forget to head to Rio Ferdinand Presents YouTube channel to watch that full interview. Interesting stuff there, Bayo. I mean, what do you make of Bruno Fernandes? Because you've got to take your hat off to him for my money, because I think he's probably the best signing post-Fergie, and he's carried United through thick and thin. Yes, he's not won, like he just said there, as much as he'd like to, but surely he will go down as a legend at Manchester United.
So, for me, outside of, I'm not a Man United supporter, but I can appreciate what he's done and what he's continued to do. And I think he's mentioned it there. I think United's gone through that transition after Fergie. So United's not the United of old, and they're more United by name rather than action, especially post-Fergie.
Without doubt.
But he is that one person that comes to mind that throughout this whole tenure, he's the one that shows up. And of course, because of he's always been up against the name of Man United, it always feels like, I'm just outside that, it's falling short. But if you just take his work
in the context
of the time, like, he's got to be down as a modern legend. And I know, Man United fans, they can't get behind when they were dominating. So all of the Rios and the Keanes and the Giggs and Beckhams and all of them, the Yorks and Coles, when they were just dominating, which you can just be like, yeah, that's why they're great. But for Fernandes has to be, like, he's the one that shows up. And I know his stats, to be fair, I don't know all his stats, but I know his stats.
Here he goes, 31 years old, 307 appearances, 103 goals. Now, we were talking to our production team before this. Some of them were saying, look, well, he takes penalties. 38 penalties he's scored. And I think that shouldn't take away from it.
Not at all.
He puts them away. I think he's one of the most efficient efficient penalty takers I've seen in a long time in the Premier League. Like, he's up there with Ivan Toney. I know he's missed a couple, but he scored. That's all. That is a goal every 3 games for a midfielder in what Ruben Amorim has described as the worst team in Manchester United history. I don't think that's bad going, that.
Yeah, listen, again, he's the one that's showing up. And for me, outside looking at, I know people think penalties are easy. They're not. Like, so to be able to consistently, constantly, especially when you're a penalty taker, so that means goalies study. So that means you've got to change it up. So to be able to consistently score penalties, I know he's missed it a few recently, but you can't take that away. And he does. He's now the captain. And, you know, I know people talk about, you know, he complains or his body language or, you know, but yet still, it's that transition. And I'll keep coming back to it. When you're going up against the Man United name, which is still, no matter what they've gone through, Man United's still arguably the biggest club in the world, or one of them. So he's constantly got to be able to go up against that throughout this transition. So for me, Fernandes has to go down from as a Man United legend of the modern era.
Just before we'll take some calls on this, Man United fans, get in touch. 03717 223344. Is Bruno a legend? I just want to quickly get your view on this, because you were a captain, and obviously you've played under other captains. When it comes to that sort of shrugging his shoulders, whining at other players, what do you make of all that?
I think body language means a lot. That wasn't really my style in that. But again, it's the way he plays, and I think his players will understand that. You know what? He's passionate and he talks with his body, you know. So, yeah, man, that's just the way. That's his style.
Well, look, get in touch with us, Man United fans. What do you think to what Bruno's been speaking to Rio Ferdinand about? Is he going to be a legend when he leaves the club? You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT.
To succeed, people often say you need to think outside the box. In sports, every now and then someone does just that and comes up with a crazy idea for an exhibition event that nobody else could have dreamt up. Here are some of the most iconic we've ever seen. I mean, what an image. This was the setting for the Battle of the Surfaces in 2007 between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. The courts in Nadal's home of Mallorca reportedly took 19 days to build and cost £1.2 million. The players had to change their shoes every time they changed ends, and despite some dodgy bits of grass, they slugged out an epic three-setter, won by Nadal. But that's not even the most famous exhibition in tennis, because in 1973, we got the Battle of the Sexes, watched by 50 million people in the US alone. Billie Jean King's victory over Bobby Riggs was not only a landmark event for entertainment value, but also for its impact on the fight for gender equality in sports. I mean, the Battle of the Surfaces never got turned into a movie. Now, imagine a motor race that involved American Indy cars and European F1 cars. Well, that happened twice, back in 1957 and 58. The race of the two worlds took place at Monza and was nicknamed Monzanapolis. Despite legends like Sterling Moss, Phil Hill and Mike Hawthorne racing the F1 cars, the Americans won both years. Fans and the teams loved it, but it didn't make enough money, so got canned. For its cast list alone, though, the greatest exhibition might have to go to the Princess Diana Memorial match at Lord's. Mike Atherton captained a Marylebone Cricket Club side, with Sachin Tendulkar leading a rest of the world 11. Names like Wasim Akram, Sourav Ganguly, Andy Flower and Neil Kumble and Glenn McGrath turned out. The one-dayer won by the rest.
Good evening, how are we? You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. It's me, Max Scott, your host, alongside Bayo Akinfenwa. And we're talking Bruno Fernandes this section because he's been speaking to Rio Ferdinand on his YouTube podcast, been talking about loyalty. So what we're asking Manchester United fans, when all is said and done, when Bruno's career at United is over, is he retiring a legend at the club? He's only won 2 trophies. He scored 100-odd goals in 300-odd games. Me and Bayo reckon certified legend for the context. Man United fans, get in touch. You're listening to the Sports Bar here on talkSPORT. Bayo, mate, I'm going to take some convincing here. I'm going to take some convincing. If any United fans calling up saying, no, he can't be a legend, they're going to need some good arguments to convince me.
You know what? It depends what era they're coming in. If they're young, they may say he's a legend. If they're old... anyway, let's see.
Well, let's go straight to the phone lines because we've got Colin in the shed, long-time Sports Bar caller. Colin, how you doing, mate? First of all, are you in the shed tonight?
Well, I'm always in the shed listening to the Sports Bar, my friends. Good evening, boys. You all right?
Good evening, Colin.
Great to speak to you, mate. First of all, Col, what are you drinking in the shed at the minute?
Well, it's nearly Christmas. I've got a Jack Daniels and Coke and a nice little cigar.
Oh, happy. Hey.
In the festive spirit.
I want to be like you when I grow up. Jeez, Colin. Yeah.
Love it, Col.
Right, guys, look, Bruno, I've been watching United since 1963. And I've seen them come and I've seen them go. And Bruno, of this current lot, he is a legend. Yeah. Whether he'd have got into the class of 92 era with Fergie era and his pomp and changing with people like Paul Ince, I'm not absolutely certain. But he is certainly a modern era. For the last decade, he's probably been the best we've had in midfield, and probably since Fergie, I think he's probably been the best signing. One of the reasons why I say that, not only is his figures good, his figures are very good, but you never see him on the injured list. He plays. No matter what, and he takes some stick and he plays and he works hard. And you also got to look at his international career. He's first on the team sheet. He's even ahead of Ronaldo now. And Portugal, they look at his figures for Portugal. They actually need him. So, yes, modern day, old time, no.
Colin, can I ask you? Obviously, I think he was speaking to Rio. This was recorded before these comments came out with, I think, a Portuguese outlet of him saying he believed that the club wanted him to go. And there's also been this sort of drama at United with the free Kobbie Mainoo and his brother wearing the T-shirt and the fact that Mainoo isn't getting any minutes. What do you see the future for both of those players at your club? Do you think that either both of them are gonna be at different clubs come next season?
Well, I can tell you what I hope, and I can tell you what I think will happen. Kobbie Mainoo is a great player, but he's not the finished article, and he's nowhere near as good as Bruno. And if they play in the same position, then you can't drop Bruno. So that's that argument easily done. I think they'll move him out to wing back probably while the AFCON is on, and he may get some minutes.
Kobbie Mainoo at wing back.
Yeah, I think he'll move him out to wing back, or he'll put Bruno out there. He played there last season, and he played on the right last season, and he would be playing. That's why they're not entertaining the fact that he could be going.
Look, Colin, I'm not a Man United fan, but I admire the club, I admire the history, and let me tell you, I admire the history of them bringing through young players. And for me, Kobbie Mainoo is the best of that bunch in a long time. But I cannot see Ruben Amorim. I think previous comments about Mainoo's lack of pace, I can't see him putting him out at wing back. But I don't buy the idea. That he's in direct competition with Bruno Fernandes. I think Kobbie Mainoo can play deeper, and then you can put Bruno Fernandes further forward where he should be, and then it's all tickety boo. And I think United are a better team. I don't understand why Amorim just seems to have it against Mainoo.
He could put him instead of Bruno in the middle. There's no doubt about that. And push Bruno further up. That's agreed. But he couldn't put him and Bruno in the middle together. It just wouldn't work because neither of them could tackle, a Wigan pie. It was absolutely terrible. But on the ball going forward, Mainoo is good, but he's not the finished article.
No, of course he's not. But he needs to play. He needs to play to become the finished.
Colin, let me ask you. So, where are you now with Amorim now? So, with United, because outside looking in, right? I do think from where Mainoo was last season when they was talking about he's like the next one, got into England. I do think the treatment, and this is just outside. I don't watch Man United as much as you, of course. But I do think the treatment was like, where it just feels like he's got caught up in this whole, everybody kind of wants him to play. So it feels like Amorim's just digging his feet in even more just to be like, he can't do it, and we saw glimpses. I can remember the goal he scored against Liverpool. So that's where he came on my radar. But where's right now with Amorim and Man United, where are you with the project that Amorim's doing with United?
Right, first of all, thanks for the question because I've got a great answer for you. A lot of people are saying that Amorim doesn't encourage young players. Rubbish. Heaven and Euro are two of the youngest players we've had playing in a back four ever. Even going back to Busby. So that's the one thing. He does encourage young players and he does bring them on, but they've got to show they are adult enough to actually take the criticism. That was what the problem of Rashford and the problem of Garnacho. They couldn't take the criticism and they didn't like the old school things where saying, you are not playing well enough to play in my team. Oh, I don't like that. I'm on £300,000 a week. What do you know? And that is a criticism. As far as Amorim is concerned, if he doesn't finish in the top 6 this year, time for a change.
I mean, I can understand that because he's been given a lot of time, but equally, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's come out, hasn't he, Bayo, and he said, look, 3 years. Amorim gets 3 years regardless.
He won't own the club. He won't own the club after the new year. I think the Glazers are ready to sell.
Wow.
Okay. Colin's come in and just dropped that.
Yeah man. Colin, absolute pleasure, mate. Thanks so much for joining us. That's Colin in the shed with his JD and Coke and his cigar, having a chinwag about Manchester United. Look, while we're on it, Kobbie Mainoo, I can't help but feel, I understand, look, maybe his brother wearing the T-shirt, maybe that's a bit clumsy. Maybe it's a thing to do where you love your brother, you're defending him, you don't care, you don't agree what's happening to him. But when all's said and done, he is an incredible talent. And when Colin says there, you know, he needs more minutes or he's not getting enough minutes, well, Amorim needs to play him. If he's going to become that player, he needs some minutes. And when you're struggling so much and you've got a player of that quality who's shown it for England, for example, surely you can find a way to get him into that team. It must be so frustrating for him.
Yeah, look, I don't know the situation. And I would say it seems, Amorim seems very stubborn. And for me, I think that's a blessing and a curse. I actually like... I liked especially the first when he came out and he's like, look, this is what, and maybe he was over honest, you know, and people were using that against him. And then when they beat Liverpool, I didn't like him at all. You know, it is what it is. But I think he's stubborn. So I think when there's a lot of noise, you know, to the left and everybody was talking, why are you not playing Mainu? Why not? For me, it felt like he felt they were questioning him. So I just felt like Mainu's got caught up in this where he can't see no positives with Mainu. And I honestly don't get that because he's a good player. And, you know, even with the brother thing, I know my brothers would do that for me.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst, I know. And, you know, of course, you get caught up in the moment and then the backlash will be the backlash. But it's like, look.
It's passion, isn't it?
It's passion. He doesn't like the treatment happening to his brother. But then there'll be people that agree with it, you know. And I know there'll be people in the media saying, oh, now it's just brought more attention. And then it may have the adverse effect where Amorim digs his heels in even more and says, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then I'm definitely not going to make him play. But we don't get no reports that Kobbie Mainoo's a bad egg. We don't get him that he's a bad trainer. None of that. Nothing comes out.
If you're a player and you're in that dressing room, you're in that training ground, you can see that Mainoo's an absolute baller.
Yep.
He's, in terms of class, he's, head and shoulders above a lot of those Manchester United players in that dressing room.
Yep.
If you're a player and you can see that, but your manager isn't starting him, I think he started him once this season, then what does that undermine your confidence in the manager? If you're maybe a Bruno Fernandes and you're thinking, we need someone like Mainoo in the team.
I always think there's a due diligence for senior players to go and have a conversation with managers. And I do think and managers also show their strengths or their characteristics or if they're top tier because they have an open dialogue with their senior players. It's not necessarily that they have to have it with everybody, but I do think there's a core group, a core culture setters, be the manager, then down to the senior player and the core going through. And if Bruno was like, listen, Gaffer, well, we see him in training, man. He's top tier. Like, what is this? Like, what's your thinking? And then the manager says, look, he's got this, but at the moment, stylistically, he doesn't work.
Would you do that?
Oh, man.
If you're a Man United player?
100%. I did it at Wickham. Like, you have conversations with, I believe, this is what I keep saying, I had captains before me when I was young, when I was at Swansea, when I was at Gillingham, when I was coming through at Torquay, senior players, captains will have conversations because one thing I would say, the changing room is the changing room. So the manager will be the manager and then the players will have their changing room and players talk to players. So if there's an energy or a frequency in the changing room and the players are like, listen, we don't understand it. It doesn't matter what he does. Players can read that energy and then there'll always be, you know, if there's one person unhappy, there'll be a next unhappy and then it can start getting clicky. So then what the senior players, if it is Bruno, you know, if it's Maguire, whoever is it, will have a conversation with the manager and then the manager will be like, look, but yeah, he's a good player, but at the moment it doesn't work with Casemiro, yourself, and X, Y, and Z. So,
but I mean, one thing we can say is that Ruben Amorim's clearly not listening because Kobbie Mainoo's still starving for game time. I can understand why he's looking maybe to get out on loan, but interestingly, we understand that talkSPORT, the United top brass, have no intention of selling him in January. We'll continue this chat in a moment, but we're going to head back to the Ali Pali for an update in the darts with Ian Danter.
We're in the final match of the night, and Krzysztof Ratajski, the Polish #1, is 2-0 up in a race to 3 against the Philippines man Alexis Toilo, one of the slowest men on the PDC circuit. But the Polish Eagle is getting the job done. It's one leg apiece in the fourth set. Ted Lasso is still here watching on. Jason Sudeikis. We've had Laura Robson here tonight, the former Wimbledon ladies singles player, and Peter Crouch and Steve Sidwell taking in the darts. And they saw some fantastic stuff earlier. Michael van Gerwen pushed all the way by the Japanese player Tatsunami, but winning by 3-1. And earlier today, what a day for African darts. David Manua knocking out the number 18 seed Mike de Decker of Belgium in one of the biggest shocks ever seen at the Alexandra Palace. The remainder of this game will play out on the talkSPORT app and the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Hit the bullseye this Christmas with a darty party at Village. Enjoy flights of festive fun with our interactive darts lanes. Available at locations across the UK.
That's all the very latest with the darts. Up next, we're going to be joined by our mate Ryan Scott-Douglas to preview some of the big games in the Premier League this weekend. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app today for all the latest odds and offers. 18+, gambleaware.org. Good evening, you're listening to the Sports Bar with me, Max Scott, alongside Bayo Akinfenwa. We've been talking Bruno Fernandes. We agree that regardless of what happens, when he leaves United, he is a club legend, but we've got a text no name on it. Fernandes, a legend for what? Turning up, done nothing, achieved nothing. Bit harsh, isn't it?
Wow.
He has won a League Cup, he has won an EFL Cup in probably the worst time in the club's modern history. I think that's a bit harsh, that, mate, but fair play. Each their own. Right, time now to discuss all the very latest odds with talkSPORT Bet and our mate, our ambassador, Ryan Scott-Douglas.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Stay on the ball with our safer gambling tools. Find out more at talksportbet.com. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Right, Ryan, delighted to say you're back with us. Mate, we had I've got to say, Ryan, we didn't half have a good time at the staff Christmas party on Monday night, did we?
Listen, we made the most of it, didn't we? We really filled our boots. It was unbelievable. I'll tell you what, the fact that it was on a Monday made no difference to us, did it, Max? It was one of those.
It didn't. And we did the sort of late night TalkSport crew pretty proud. And I've got to say, you've got some absolute pipes on you. I can't remember what you were singing, but let me tell you, it was impressive, mate.
Where was I, man?
I know.
Where, I'm seeing this is.
Blame Jack. You didn't get the invite from Jack, mate.
Good. I'm sitting here and I'm in the middle. You're like, yeah, it was a great time. Yeah, we had a great time. And I'm just looking like, that's what we're doing here now.
Sorry, Bale. Honestly, I'm so happy you're on as well. We've gone beast mode on the sports bar, and you didn't get an invite to the Christmas party. That's
crazy.
Terrible.
Shocking.
That's
shocking.
I was singing James Blunt for those that were interested. You're beautiful. What I like to do is I like to lower the tone, make you think about an ex and ruin the night. That's my kind of vibe. So, we went in.
There were tears.
There were tears, wasn't it?
I like it.
Right, let's get into it then. We've got an absolute belter of a Premier League weekend. Yeah. Starting off, early kickoff, live on talkSPORT, Newcastle, Chelsea. I mean, for me, this is like the consistently inconsistent derby. These teams have been so inconsistent this year. What you got for us on the betting?
I know, it is kind of the undertone of a lot of the teams in this Premier League, isn't it? It can just be bonkers and it can go either way. 2 quarter-final victories, obviously, in midweek as well.
Yeah.
But we talk about undertones. The kind of Newcastle week has been, are they still licking their wounds? Because they've still got to be stinging from that Sunderland win, haven't they? They really do. And how can they bounce back from that? Will they bounce back from that? But they beat Chelsea the last 2 times they've played them by a 2-0 scoreline. So they do kind of go into this with a little bit of wind in their sails. But Chelsea won their last Premier League game. They're the 4th highest scorers. And I don't mind telling you, boys, they're the favourites to win this game at St James's. They're 29-20. Newcastle are 17-10. And the draw is 13-5. So that's the headline with regards to that. Now, Chelsea to win and both teams to score is a TalkSport bet booster. So if you think Chelsea and you're leaning towards the Chelsea perspective, that's 17-5. Palmer, the first goal scorer, is boosted to 7-1. I think a lot of Chelsea fans will like that one. Visser scores midweek though, and at 17-10 is anytime price I'm enjoying. But I have to inform everyone about the super boost for TalkSport Bet here. It's both teams to score, which I think will happen. Both teams to score.
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of, in the early kickoff, it feels right, doesn't it, lads? And it's gone from 8-15 all the way to evens. It's a super boosted price, which TalkSport Bet you can get as a headline offer on site and on the app as well. So that's where I'm going to look at, and that's where I'm going to go, lads.
Difficult one to call that, isn't it, mate? I mean, for me, I look at both of those sides. Great managers, like good squads, particularly Chelsea. Cole Palmer back, etc. I think there's going to be goals in that one.
Yeah. I think I could see the high scoring draw though. I do. I think both of them. I think this is going to come on and do something. Confidence, got goal in midweek. Chelsea always score goals, but then they concede goals as well.
Yeah.
What do you think about a 2-2 or a 3-3?
Yeah, I would say a 2-2. I'll say a 2-2 draw.
Yeah. 21-2. That is 21-2 for Desmond. That feels right, doesn't it? I know what you're saying. That feels good.
Right, talk us through Everton-Arsenal, massive one. We're going to be speaking to Harry Symeou a little bit later on about his feelings on sort of Gunners' title race, etc. My Forest went to Everton a couple of weeks ago, got the pants pulled down 3-0. Jack Grealish, David Moyes, it feels good there, new stadium. I think it's going to be a tough ask for Arsenal.
Yeah, again, another advertisement for the Premier League and what any side can do to you, isn't it? The Arteta Derby, is anyone calling it that? I'm fully aware no one's calling it that.
I hadn't even thought that one.
Yeah, nobody's calling it that one.
You tried something, Bale. I've got to throw it out there, haven't I?
Stick to the karaoke.
I will. Now, Everton have been really solid. You say, 4 wins in 6 games for them. I mean, that is unbelievable form in the climate of the Premier League right now. But you look at the price here, and it's obviously because of who they're against. They're 5-1. 5-1 to get a win here. It makes sense because Arsenal are 4-7 and the draw's 29-10, which if I think Everton are going to get something, I'd probably go that way. But 5-1 is maybe they'll fancy themselves, Everton here. It is one of those games, isn't it? Now, it's hard to pin down one goal scorer for Arsenal, lads. I've got Eze here as an 11-5 booster with TalkSport Bet. I like it. Osaka at 39-2. That's not too bad as well. Arsenal to win to nil's lost its appeal. I don't think they're not shutting out teams like they were at 6-4. So Arsenal to win and both teams to score at 31-10 feels better, and that's probably what I would look at.
Bayo, you reckon Arsenal are going to do it? We've been chatting about the title race, but I just can't help but think this one's a bit of a banana skin for them because of the injuries at the back. Gyökeres isn't necessarily firing. They're still trying to find out what works for them.
It just, to be fair, it's the injuries for me, but I think Arsenal come through. I think actually I know they played poor against Wolves, and Wolves played well. You know, I think people ain't really seeing that. Wolves played well. So the expectation we put on it, they played well. But I think because they got through that and the manner of the way they came through it, I think actually Arsenal, not comfortably, because Everton at home they are solid under Moyes and that, but I think Arsenal I think Arsenal win this game.
Okay.
I think 3-1.
Yeah, I think you can say about Arsenal this season, they've got more metal, more resilience, and that comes from the depth. I think it comes from years and years with Arteta. And so I can see what you mean. I just think...
I hope Everton, listen, I know Everton's my rivals, but beat them. Like, go beat Arsenal, brother. Where you at? Beat them. Like, but I think Arsenal win this.
Okay, right. We're moving on. Leeds Palace. This is a fascinating one, Ryan, because, you know, Leeds are having this bit of a revival under Daniel Farke. You know, one of our producers, Jeremy, a massive Leeds fan, was calling for Farke's head for weeks and weeks and weeks, and now he's absolutely loving it because there's been this resurgence. You know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think it's 4-4, and they're coming up against a Palace who've just played tonight. They're going to be playing on Saturday, and then they've got a massive cup quarter-final with Arsenal on Tuesday. So is that reflected in the odds? Maybe Leeds sort of more favourites than they usually would be?
Do you know what? The odds on this one are crazy. First of all, I said Saka 39-2. I think everyone's eyes lit up. It's 39-20. So I just want to correct myself there. Excuse me for his anytime price. So I thought I'll wait and say that one. But going back to this one, it is again. It's one of those games, and I think I'm just going to say that for every fixture right now. As it stands, Palace are fifth in the Premier League, yes, but there is just an air of uncertainty for them in Europe, and as you say, they've got one eye on the fixture. Now, this is unbelievable. The price between these two teams is so marginal. It is so close. So Leeds are just favourites. They're 13. On both of these teams, there'd be 37p in it. There is literally next to nothing between them, and it will probably change by the time you get round to it. It's 23-10 for the draw. You're probably going to have to look up and get creative with this one, really. Mateta anytime's a booster. I enjoy it 9-5, but over 2.5 goals is just over even. So I've stacked this little bet builder for you, lads. Over 2.5 goals, 2 Mateta shots on target, and 2 Wharton tackles is 21-5. That's just a treble there. So get creative with it. But I agree with you. This should be a really good game.
Yeah, absolutely. Reminder, all of these games so far on talkSPORT. Newcastle, Chelsea's the early kickoff on Saturday, talkSPORT exclusive. Then we've got the late kickoff, Everton, Arsenal, also a talkSPORT exclusive. That Leeds Palace game is a talkSPORT 2 exclusive. And then on Monday night, most importantly, Ryan, my beloved Nottingham Forest, under Sean Dyche, heading to Fulham. I've got a ticket for that one. Can't wait to be in the away end there. I make Forest favourites on this purely because Calvin Bassey, Alex Iwobi gone to AFCON. I think there's another one as well for Fulham. Yeah. And whereas Forest have only got Ibrahim Sangare, who scored that belter against Spurs. So I make Forest favourites, get us closer to Fulham in the table as well, and further away from that relegation battle.
Well, they're only 2 points ahead of you, aren't they? So it is a big game.
Feels like a 6-pointer, mate. Feels like a 6-pointer.
I get that for you guys. Last time we spoke, you were we were in talkSPORT Towers, and you were hoping you'd see something from Ange. By the way, that's when we crossed each other in the corridor when we were talking about your mob. But do you know what? And I hate to do this to you, and hate to break your heart, but Fulham are the favourites. So I'm gonna. They're on at 11-8. I'm sorry, man, but it's probably the home factor that's playing the part there. 15-8 Forest. That's what they find themselves for the time being, anyway. And the draw's at 9-4. I was going to go through a little bit of value here, but seeing as I've got you here, why don't you give me a score and I'll tell you what talkSPORT Bet can give you for it? Why don't you give a score prediction?
2-1 Forest.
Oh, okay. You think you edge it 17-2, 17-2. That's where we'll go with that one. But I agree, it's a massive one for both of these two teams. If you want the Max Scott special, 2-1 is 17-2. There you go.
There we go. That'll make you some money. And as well, new competition for some customers on talkSPORT Bet, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it's new customers. I mentioned it yesterday on the show as well. It's exclusively for them, really. You go to www.talksportbet.com/Chelsea VIP, and you could be in for 2 Chelsea VIP tickets. It's Villa versus Chelsea. It's Saturday the 27th, or Chelsea Villa, I should say. When I say VIP, I mean food, drink, great seats. talkSPORT Bet will look after you. In order to do that, it's basically the welcome offer. So you bet 10. You get £40 in free bets. You place that bet, and we will automatically enter you into that prize draw for Chelsea versus Villa VIP tickets, 2 of them. So head to talksportbet.com/Chelsea VIP, and you've got to be in it to win it, lads, haven't you?
Absolutely. Ryan, love it, mate. Have you got any more karaoke plans pre-Christmas, or have you are you done with that?
I probably won't wind down just yet. I might try and squeeze another Enrique Iglesias hero at a karaoke bar somewhere.
Come on, man.
I'm not
Don't peak too soon out here. Come on now.
He was on good form, let me tell you, mate. Let me tell you. Ryan, absolute pleasure, mate, as always. Take care, mate.
Right, blessings, Ryan.
Cheers, boys.
Later.
Nice one.
Lovely. That was a look at the latest odds thanks to talkSPORT Bet. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Stay on the ball with our safer gambling tools. Find out more at talksportbet.com. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Right, producer Jack wants me to announce the winner in the darts, and I'm going to struggle with this, but I can announce that Krzysztof Ratajski has beaten Alexis Toilo in the round 128 PDC World Darts Championship. For all the latest, you can head to the talkSPORT website at talksport.com.
$26K for 2026 on talkSPORT.
Yeah, at talkSPORT, we're welcoming in the new year by giving away a massive £26,000. What better way to kick off 2026 and with a chance to win some serious cash? Yes, that's 26 grand. It's our biggest new year cash giveaway, and it could be yours. It's 26k for 2026. Here's how to enter. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 423 9761. Lines close at 12 p.m, 9th of January 2026. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. Remember, UK residents only, 18 plus. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com/win. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. Good luck. Okay, enough of those T's and C's. It's time now for the back pages. Yeah, this is the Ralph Ellis back pages where myself and Bayo Akinfenwa bring you tomorrow's headlines tonight. Joining us now is my mate talkSPORT's Jack Cunningham to run us through some of the biggest stories, and another person that was invited to the Christmas party over Bayo. I don't know what's going on, mate. Even Jack was invited.
Jack was going on.
I was invited.
No, not even. Jack got... Listen.
Party. Good party, wasn't it, Jack?
Wait, I don't know why you dissipated, but I was at with Crookie and Scott Minto about 4 a.m. So
yeah, I called it at 3 and it was a good job I did.
You lot just dropping names on me, yeah? No, it's cool. It's cool. Just drop names on me.
By the way, I was listening to Ryan before, and I'm pretty sure I was there, but I do not remember him doing karaoke. And then I had to sleep in a bus stop on the way home. So
mate, I'm not surprised, mate. You were an absolute state. Embarrassing.
I think I was, wasn't it?
That's a sign of a good party. I won't lie. It's a sign of a good party, brother.
I think I shamed myself a little bit.
Nah, mate, you were on good form. Right, talk us through back pages. What you got for us first up?
Yeah, so first one, well, I think the cricket. Let's start with that. What an absolute shambles. I'm sorry. That is, so I saw some stats. So it is the fourth flattest wicket in Australia in the last 100 tests.
Wow.
You know, Australia made 378, I think it was, and everyone said, they're about 130 short. England are about starting they've started now, I think, actually, but they are 213 for 8.
218 now. And a load of dot balls under to Lions. So I think
well done, lads.
But I mean, that's been England's problem, hasn't it? You know, and I think it's the iSport are talking about the day Bazball died, and I can understand, because I think that all of the weaknesses and all of the frailties of sort of cricket under Brendan McCullum have been exposed in Australia. And Jack, I don't know about you, but I fully thought we could really do this. You can never walk it down under against Australia, but I thought we can give them a run for their money. And as it stands, it's going to be 3-0. Test over, series over in 9 days or whatever.
No, I think if you think about some of the other series past going to Australia, I don't think many people actually thought we had much of a chance. But this one, no Pat Cummins for the first 2 tests. No Josh Hazlewood for the entire series. Steve Smith is out of this one, their best batter, on such a flat wicket. It is such an unbelievable opportunity that has just slipped through the grasp. And the annoying thing has been that they've been speaking about it for years, right? Yeah, we're preparing for this. We're not even thinking about other series. Yeah. It's all about the Ashes down under. It doesn't matter about this, But we're not going to do a pink ball test, and we're not going to do any warm up games against any proper teams. We're going to play against the Lions, and we're going to not do a pink ball game before we go to the Gabba where we never win. And some of the players who they've stuck with, and I think a lot of fans have been very, very patient with. So I think Zach Crawley, Ollie Pope comes to mind. I mean, they have been so bad. I'm sorry, Ollie Pope should be sent home now. Send him home. That shot yesterday was embarrassing. For a England number 3 on such a flat wicket, you cannot come out and chip the ball to mid-wicket. Nathan Lyon, it is pathetic. It brings Joe Root in way too early, and Root is then, right, well, I've got to now save the innings. He can't save the innings at this point either. He can't do it every time. You can't have your number 3 as a walking wicket, and he is a walking wicket. Get him out the team.
Jack, let me ask you, because of course you're talking, why has it gone so wrong? Why has it gone so wrong?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is, to be fair, Bill, there's many reasons, but I think a lot of it comes down to the attitude, in the sense of, I think the players feel that they can rock up and play in whatever way they want to, rather than maybe the conditions, and not respecting the Australian bowlers, almost. A case of we're just going to try and smash you out the park no matter what you bowl, when actually these, even though Australia don't have some of their best bowlers, these are people who know their conditions brilliantly well, and it's just this lack of, it's almost this kind of arrogance, to be honest, about the team. And I think a lot of England fans are really I've been really supportive, but I've lost it now. You know, I'm really annoyed.
Yeah, and I share that sentiment as well, and I've been staying up to watch it as well. We are going to hear from John Norman in a moment, who's going to give us an update live from Australia. So let's move on. What else have you got for us on tomorrow's back pages, Jackie?
Yeah, McIlroy has finally won the Sports Personality of the Year. So, I mean, I feel like out of all the candidates, probably fair enough.
That Masters.
Winning the Masters.
Were you into the Masters, into the golf?
No, I actually watched it. I'm not saying that I'm into, but I watched it, and yeah, man.
But I think that says everything. It was one of those moments.
Yeah.
That, because I don't know a lot about golf. I'll swing a club every now and again with my mates, my brother-in-law, etc. But I had to watch that, and it captured me. And I think it was one of the most powerful sporting moments I've ever seen. To see him go so close to losing it, and then go to the playoff hole, win it against Justin Rose. It was magic.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad he's been awarded with that.
No, and also Ryder Cup as well. The abuse he copped at the Ryder Cup, and the abuse that Erica Stoll copped at the Ryder Cup as well, from those American fans. I mean, not fans.
We're on bad form.
Treat people like that.
Chucking drinks over.
There was one who said a homophobic comment to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, was videoing himself saying a homophobic comment to McIlroy. I think he's had a year of adversity. You know, the Masters has always been the thing that he's never got. He finally got it. But then equally, I think that Ryder Cup win was extremely impressive as well. And I feel like, in the end, you know, he did deserve to win compared to all of the other candidates, I feel like.
I think fully deserved for Rory McIlroy. As we said, absolute magic moment. But can you talk to us about our friends and colleagues at the Times, Matt Lawton and Martin Ziegler, and they've got this, you know, the chaos at FIFA, whether it's ticket prices, whether it's the absolute shambles that was the World Cup draw, you know, bowing down to Donald Trump, all that sort of sycophantic stuff that we all saw at the draw. There's now this outrage over the fan zone. What can you tell us about that, Jack?
Well, yeah, fan zones, the point of them is that, they're free. It's to get an atmosphere going. For people who've already spent all their money to get to the country and then all the money to pay
that'll fleece you for what you're worth in any restaurant, ask you to tip half your mortgage for a milkshake.
So wait, exactly. And they're really now trying to charge?
They're going to charge you for fan zones.
Wow.
I mean, it doesn't even matter how much it is, right? It genuinely doesn't. Because it's the sentiment of charging
the principle, man.
For a fan zone.
This is,
it is this World Cup. I am already sick of it. The draw annoyed me so much.
Ronaldo getting his ban rescinded.
Getting his ban rescinded is incredible.
That was crazy. That is insane. That's crazy work.
And then you also have the ticket prices are some of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. I think if England get to the final, it's going to be about $5,000 in tickets alone. And then people forgetting how expensive America is as a country.
I know.
And you've got to live there for a bit of time as well. So we are talking about what should be a brilliant. Oh, and also Donald Trump's banned Senegal and Ivory Coast fans.
I see that. I saw.
So Senegal and Ivory Coast fans can't go, and I find the African fans some of the best supporters there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see that AFCON as well.
You bring vibes and energy, man.
Yeah. Exactly. This is turning into kind of what we probably all feared it would, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm concerned.
It's such a shame.
But what I will say, Jack, is I've got a feeling England are going to do it. I can't lie.
We have a feeling all the time.
Don't cut me down now. I think it's going to happen. Thomas too.
Let's wait. Let's just wait.
All right, Max.
Yeah.
Look, if we win it, then forget about all this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jack, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. We're going to get to the cricket. But absolute pleasure, mate. And you've recovered from your antics at the Christmas.
All right, blessings, Jay. Take care.
That is talkSPORT's very own Jack Cunningham bringing us the top stories in tomorrow's back pages. And now, I mean, we've been talking about the cricket. It's underway, and I'm delighted to say we can head over to our cricket editor, John Norman, who's got the very latest.
Yeah, enjoying listening to Jack on his long run. 220 for 8 and fair play to him as well. Yeah, he made a lot of good points. Archer's gone big. He's targeting deep mid-wicket boundary. He's going to reach it as well. Maximum 6 runs from the bat of Jofra Archer. Nathan Lyon has just been tonked. So England's still believing, just about. They trail by 146. They really wanted to be ahead of Australia by 80 to 100. They're not going to do that, but whilst Jofra Archer and Ben Stokes are there, you know, at least England can believe in miracles. It is that time of the year, of course, but it's been a chastening couple of days. It's been a chastening 3 tests, and so it will probably continue into day 3 here at Adelaide. Archer then 37, and Stokes has gone past 50. The two upon 67 for the 9th wicket. But you know, it's kind of a case of, well, if they could do that, 58, sorry, if they could do that, then surely some of the batters that came before them could have done a little better yesterday. So 226 for 8 then, England. Start of day 3, they trail by 145.
John, can I just ask you, because I'm one of those people that's given up my sleep cycle and sleep routine, watching England with every hope that this could be something special. And like all England fans, have had that sort of hope slowly destroyed, slowly crumbled. And I guess what you can only say is that Ben Stokes, at least he has batted sort of with a bit of character. You know, he's got his half century. What can I just ask? You know, I can't see England winning this test, regardless of how well Archer and Stokes are going at the minute. What next? What if we do lose in 9 days, 10 days, whatever it is, the entire series? What do you think happens next for England under Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes?
Well, I wonder whether they'll continue being under Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes. I think that's the first question. You know, what normally happens after Ashes defeats, especially big ones, is that there is a change in personnel at the top. And I'll be very interested to hear what Ben Stokes comes out and says. Now, whether he is, you know, whether there's a clamour or a push for that to happen, probably not. I think most people would prefer Ben to stay, as he just laces another boundary off the bowling of Scott Boland to move to 55. He's bisected the field at extra cover and mid-off and away to the boundary. So 230 for 8, the deficit down to 141. Brilliant. So, yeah, essentially it'll be down to Stokes himself. I think he will be chastened, and maybe he will feel that the team didn't follow him.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't lead the team.
I can understand.
So I think that's where it will come from. It'll be down to him, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what for my money, I hope that I can understand if McCullum does, but I do hope that Stokes stays, because I think that he's a great leader and a great captain when all's said and done, although it hasn't gone particularly well. A reminder, you can listen to John and our talkSPORT cricket team on the Following On podcast to get all of your reaction, and I can only imagine that tomorrow morning there's going to be some big reaction if it goes the way that we think it is going to go. That is John Norman, our talkSPORT cricket editor, bringing us the very latest. We'll continue to bring you updates here on the Sports Bar. Good evening, how are we? You are listening to The Sports Bar. I'm your host, Max Scott. Alongside me, the legend, Bayo Akinfenwa. And let me tell you, we've been talking a lot about this one. We're talking AJ Jake Paul. No matter what you think about this fight is massive. And I know that a lot of people are tuning into this because they want to see one thing happen. They want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. And I'm delighted to say we're going to head straight over to our boxing expert, the host of the brilliant show that is Fight Night, is the inimitable Gareth A. Davis, who is there at the weigh-in. Gareth, tell us what the atmosphere is like over there.
Well, it's fantastic. Good evening, Max. Good evening, Adebayo. Well, we're just coming to the culmination of the weigh-ins here at this amazing Art Deco theatre, the Fillmore in Miami. Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley, two legends, two UFC champions just facing off. Both, of course, who've been beaten by Jake Paul. We've been with Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua today, and Lennox Lewis and Akisa Badarian, all the characters, as we culminate for the eve of the big fight day. It's a great atmosphere in here. There's about 300 media. There's some public as well. It's a bizarre event, but it's just very intriguing and very captivating.
Gareth, when the fight was first announced, your comments really resonated with me about sort of the safety of the fight and the fight sort of, you know, shouldn't have been commissioned ultimately. Having been sort of covering this now, reporting it, speaking to the fighters, have your feelings changed towards it, or do you still have those safety concerns about what can happen to Jake Paul?
I've become a little bit inured to the fact that the golfing class is so, and experience and size and power is so enormous. I mean, I wrote columns, I broadcast things at the very beginning, not really believing it could ever or would ever happen. It will take, I've said this already a couple of times, it will take something of biblical proportions for Jake Paul to beat Anthony Joshua. I mean, it really is David against Goliath. I know David did beat Goliath, but it's just one of the most exceptional upsets, if you like, battling upsets in history. I still have concerns about Jake Paul, but he's so deluded in a weird way that he does believe he can go in there and do something. I think he'll make it messy. I think he'll make it scrappy. I think he'll run away, but reality's going to dawn on him about this time tomorrow night, a couple of hours later tomorrow night, that he's up in the ring with a guy who's going to hit him with a ramrod jab straight into his nose, might break his nose, might break his ribs. It's going to be a baptism of fire for him, because he's never been in with anyone like this in his 13 fights. Yeah, I do have concerns in some ways, but the way that Joshua's been carrying himself, I think he'll marinate Jake Paul. He will jab him, he'll go to the body, and I think the referee will be merciful. I don't think we'll see Jake Paul out cold tomorrow night for some reason, but who knows?
See, Gav, and that's what I wanted to ask you, because so when I'm watching, you know, the interactions between AJ and Jake Paul, for me it looks a bit different. The AJ seems a bit different, like, you know, it's not. Yeah. He don't look like he's in killer mode. You know, it looks like he's. So when you said that, has maybe AJ been taken in by the deludedness of Jake Paul getting in the ring with him, because it feels a little bit different.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and it's something that I've picked up on all week. I know he was pilloried for saying you could kill your opponent in the ring, you can legally kill someone, and Tyson Fury went off at him yesterday when he said that, Anthony Joshua. But what I think all these guys, he doesn't feel like he believes Jake Paul is any threat whatsoever. Okay. He's taking him seriously, but he's not really wound up by what Jake says. And I think what happens with all these guys that fight Jake Paul, who come from the combat sports world, they don't treat it like a real fight. It's the Jake Paul show with Netflix, and they all kind of tacitly agree to go along with it. Like AJ's the B side here. He walks first. Jake Paul walks second. On the poster behind us, Jake Paul is the A side, traditionally the left-hand side of the poster, and I think it's the Jake Paul show. It's as simple as that. And AJ's just playing that game.
Yeah, with this, Gareth, me and Bale were talking about this earlier because and maybe we're being harsh, and I bow to your superior boxing knowledge, but it feels to us that if AJ lets this go past 3 rounds, regardless of what happens, his maybe not his legacy, but his current reputation will be somewhat damaged.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Do you think there's a limit to where how far he can let this fight go?
Yeah, I do completely agree with that. I think he gets him out of there early in the 3rd round. He has a look in the 1st round. He entertains us in the 2nd, starts to bust up Jake and stops him in the 3rd. I agree with you. It can't go to points after 8 rounds because that's a disaster for Anthony Joshua. Even if he says, I wanted to do the rounds. They're both weighing in behind me right now. 243 pounds, Anthony Joshua, and Jake Paul, 216 pounds. It's a big moment for Jake Paul because this is the reality is going to kick in today. But you are spot on in everything you're seeing and saying. It's that I don't think that Anthony Joshua sees Jake Paul as a true rival. Tyson Fury's the true rival. He wants to fight Usyk again and avenge the 2 defeats. This is just a digression to get a truckload of cash and an opportunity for him to resonate in America again after his disastrous 29-19 here when he lost to Andy Ruiz.
So AJ has to punch him up though, because that's how I'm looking at this, exactly that. I said take the fight. I was like, if they're going to pay you this much, take the fight. But you've got to punch him up. Like, you've got to. But when you see AJ, tell him Akinfenwa said he got to punch him up. Tell him I said that. Like, exactly how you said it. First, see what happens. Second, show your class. Third, put him down. Like, that's how it should be. But do you think there's any chance the lack of fear or that AJ's got may allow him to be complacent?
Yes, that's the fear. That's the fear for him, that he doesn't feel that adrenaline, that energy, that fear, that fast twitch that comes into, you've been there, played at the highest levels, legend of Wickham, all those things. But you knew that if you didn't deliver on the day, but your body was different. And that is the fear for him. And it might take him a couple of rounds. Remember 15 months ago, he was catastrophically knocked out at Wembley Stadium by Daniel Dubois. If Jake Paul, for some weird reason, lands a jab or that big overhand right, which are really his 2 weapons, we could get something weird happen. So he needs to go. He's been very composed all week. Look, this is a bizarre event. But all the media's out here from the UK, masses of American media. We've got all the reaction, by the way, on the Boxing talkSPORT YouTube channel. There's loads of content because we've been all over it all week. Everyone's been very available, very accessible. And the bigger picture here, of course, is that Netflix is almost taking over live events. This could be watched tomorrow night by 50, 60, even million, even more people. So it's a great opportunity. It is incredible, and it's a great opportunity for AJ, but also Jake Paul.
Gareth, as always, it's an absolute pleasure to listen to your insight and your reading of what's going on currently in the boxing space. Thank you so much.